What's up, my guys, and welcome back to the Wrestling Report Card. I'm your host, Cody, and sorry about the voice tonight, but I was at Monday Night Raw live in OKC last night, and I yelled, thank you, about 47 times in the first hour, so you're gonna have to excuse me, but I'm gonna keep powering through it, because tonight is AEW Dynamite. Not only do we have an epic segment between William Regal and MJF, but we set up the main event title match at AEW Full Gear, where we find out that it's gonna be Jon Moxley taking on MJF. Hey, that's gonna be a banger, and the build up to it, MJF's gonna take that title and he's gonna run with it into the bidding war of 2024. We also have 4 title matches on the night. We set up a number 1 contenders match in the tag team division between FTR and Swerve in Our Glory. So yeah, with his back against the ropes, Tony Khan came out swinging tonight and he delivered on this episode. So without further ado, buckle up your seatbelts. And let's get to great. So to kick us off tonight, in our first of 4 title matches, you got the AEW Trios Championships on the line, as you got Death Triangle defending against Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends. After beating Pac last week for his All-Atlantic title, Orange Cassidy looks to add to his collection as him and the Best Friends take on Pac and the Lucha Bros. And I tell you what, I saw Trios moves hit that just blew my mind. After 15 minutes of pure chaos, Pac tries to use a hammer, but his teammate Ray Phoenix stopped him, saying that they don't need it to win, which almost led to Pac getting pinned. One thing to note is that Pac came out of the heel turner before the match, while the Lucha Bros didn't. The Best Friends go on to hit the Strong Zero, but Ray Phoenix breaks it up, hits a double cutter, followed by a modified sit-out pile driver, and it gave his team the 1, 2, 3. However, after the match, there was some notable discord between Pac and his teammates, so we need to keep an eye on that moving forward. That's how you start a show, Uncle Tony. And yes, I do know that I said Pac and Pac. I'm sorry, get off my back. I just got off work. It's almost 1 o'clock here, and I was tired, boss. But we're just getting started. And one thing I will say, after all the drama with the Elite, when those titles came about, that definitely got me reinvested in that division. But I gotta keep it rolling, because next up is the second titles match, as you got Toni Storm defending the Women's Championship against Hikaru Shida, the former champion. And I tell you what, this sumbitch right here was a slobber knocker. These ladies are tougher than a $2 steak. Toni Storm starts taking stroll. She lands a German suplex. Before landing her Storm Zero, she gets the 1, 2, 3 and retains. After the match, Britt Baker came out in the Steelers jersey, damn it, in Cincy. And I know all y'all Bengals fans are mad because we still won in week 1. I mean, we are 2-4, but it was to Mitchell Trubisky. That's my guy right there. Well, enough about telling the Bengals fans how trash they are, because they already know it. Anyways, before Britt Baker can join her cronies in the ring to beat down the champ, out comes Saraya, and those two just started throwing down. We go back in the ring, and Rebel is just unloading on the champ with a crutch. But before it could get too bad, out came the first ever AEW Women's Champion, Riho, who ran down with her 100-pound frame and laid waste to both Rebel and Hater, sending them running like scouted dogs. I'm giving that a B+. Like, that's exactly what this women's division needed. And that was a great return for Riho. She got a huge prop from the Cincinnati crowd. Well, we moved backstage, and first, we set up a number 1 contenders match between FTR and Swerve in Our Glory. And I gotta say, I am here for this one, my guy. Furthermore, we moved to Marvel, who's backstage with Darby and Jay Lethal, who agreed to a no contact clause, but that flew out the window as they got physical, and I tell you what, these two were beating the holy hell out of each other. We go back, and who's ready for story time with MJF. And Adam Cole, wherever you are, I hope you are doing well, my guy. I mean, you got a good lady. She's a Steelers fan. Anyways, MJF grabs a mic and goes on to tell us the story about when he tried out for the WWE, and William Regal was one of the judges. MJF impressed Regal backstage with a promo, but Regal turned him down because he was only 19. MJF then kept trying to get involved, but then Mr. Regal sent him a very mean email to the 19-year-old Max, basically telling him that when he is a premier athlete or someone worth a notice, then come back and talk to him about the WWE. MJF goes on to tell us also that the email drove him so mad that he wanted to kill himself. Max then tells Regal that he's nothing but a sad old man who got fired. Ooh, he said NXT. I mean, not really, but he brought it up. Now, once MJF got done, old Regal grabbed the mic like only he can. He brings up that MJF had it easy. While MJF was mad about getting a mean little email at 19, William Regal was 16, getting his ass beat by grown men every single day just to even get a foot in the door in this business. Regal then tells MJF that if you want to be the devil, prove it and stop taking all these shortcuts. He then turned his back on Max. Max threw on that dynamite ring, but he didn't lay Regal out. Regal turned back around and said, "You got a lot to learn, sunshine," before walking off. William Regal has to be the only man on this planet that can shut MJF up, especially after Max hit him with that promo, because that was nice too. Hey, I'm going to give that an A+, and y'all can hate me for saying this, but to me, that is promo of the year by far. I mean, one of them's got to win it, and to me, that's the one I'm choosing. If y'all don't like that, go make a YouTube video about how much Cody sucks. Hey, I'll probably like it because I agree with you. We got to keep moving on, though. I told y'all this was a crazy episode of Dynamite. Next up, it's the Ring of Honor title on the line as you have the Ocho, Chris Jericho, Y2J. He's defending against the brand new, not to Ring of Honor, but to AEW, Dalton Castle. And I tell you what, this Dalton Castle right here can make an intro. And I'll tell you another thing, that son bitch can wrestle too. Castle legit dominated most of this match. Outside of the ring, Dalton Castle's boys all messed up when they took my guy Jake Hager's hat. That infuriated him, who just went nuts and laid all 4 guys out before reclaiming his booty, that purple hat. Back in the ring, Castle continued to hit every single suplex known to mankind. Jericho then went for the code breaker. Castle countered with his finisher, but somehow Jericho kicked out. These two get back to just beating the crap out of each other when, boom, Jericho lands a quick Judas effect. He gets the 1, 2, 3, and the Ocho becomes the third person to defend their title on AEW tonight. And Dalton Castle becomes the third former Ring of Honor champion that Chris Jericho has defended his Ring of Honor championship against. Now, after the match, Y2J rolls on with his dismantling of Ring of Honor, with Jericho and his crew attack the Ring of Honor ring announcer, and when all that got broken up by somebody, Jericho grabbed that son bitch that did it, hit him with a pile driver on the stage. I'm slapping an A- on that. Not only was that entertaining as hell, but I gotta say, Dalton Castle, you gained a fan out of me, and I've only known you for 6 days, my guy. He's got a future, a bright future here in AEW if Uncle Tony can make it happen. But that's enough talk, because it's time for the main event. We got Jon Moxley defending his AEW championship against Hangman Page. Up in his skybox, onlooking is MJF with his poker chip in hand that guarantees him a title opportunity anytime at his choosing. We flash back down to Hangman, who didn't even let Moxley make it to the ring as he jumps the ropes and barricade to go meet him out in the AEW Galaxy. Before you know it, you had Hangman flying off an 8-foot landing, wiping out the champ, and by God, we're in for a slobber knocker. We come back from the break, and to everyone's surprise, Moxley was actually bleeding for once. I had to get that in there. Moxley then gave Hangman the bird. Oh, he had him in a figure 4. So Hangman countered like a normal God-fearing American when he grabbed his hand and dug his fingers into the cut on Mox's big-ass forehead. My guy Mox had enough of all that, though. He strikes first with the cutter before biting that sumbitch in the head. He follows that up with a superplex before stomping that sumbitch's head in. We then flash up to MJF's skybox, but there's no one there. We gotta go back down though, because Mox landed a King Kong lariat, which hit Hangman Page so hard that the ringside doctor came in, called for a stoppage to this match, which yes, allowed Moxley to retain his AEW championship. After we watch Hangman Page get taken out on a gurney, we go back in the ring, where it's Moxley with a microphone, and he gets down to business as he puts that title on the line and tells MJF to bring his suburban ass down to the ring, which MJF does with that poker chip in one hand and a ref's collar dragging him in the other. MJF got in the ring. He ripped the scarf off. He unbuttoned his shirt, but he left the ring, ran off, grabbed a mic, and said, "Mox, I don't want you at 50%. I don't want any excuses. I want the title, and for the first time in my miserable life, I'm going to do it the right way." And at Full Gear, in the main event, it's going to be Jon Moxley taking on MJF. for the AEW World Championship. Yeah, I'm giving that an A. I know some people are mad about how the match ended, but think this through. This gives Hangman a legit title shot in the future when MJF does win that title off Moxley at Full Gear, and then we have a good storyline for Hangman Page taking on MJF. Now, I did want MJF to cash in tonight and become the ultimate villain in Cincinnati over Moxley, but again, we're getting MJF taking on Jon Moxley at Full Gear. Full Gear, like Eddie Kingston said, it's Full Gear. Man, what an episode, my God. But as everybody knows how the drill goes, we got all the grades in. Now let's take a look at the report card. After tallying everything up, this episode of Dynamite set a record here on the report card for the highest rated television show of any wrestling show that we featured on here for the last 7 months. As we got a final letter grade of an A-, a 93%. I told you, Uncle Tony came out swinging, and we got a great episode. But unfortunately, that leads us, or for most of y'all, fortunately, y'all don't have to hear my annoying raspy voice anymore tonight, as we came to another end. So I bid you adieu. Y'all stay safe, and have a great day.